Let's bring in 1/3 of the late debate, Liz Storer and columnist Justin Smith in Melbourne. We're all in different cities tonight for the Wednesday wrangle. Great to talk to you guys. What about that? All we need to do to cool down the planet is trigger a whole bunch of volcanic eruptions, apparently.
Easy done. Why didn't they say earlier? We could have been out of this mess by now, Chris.
It is true. You know, I've read some scientific journals in the past that they explain why there wasn't any global warming in the 70s and early 80s was because there was so much air pollution with sulfur dioxide from cars and stuff in places like Japan and the US. And so that actually suppressed some of the global warming because we had all that sulfur dioxide. So we've actually, by cleaning up that particulate pollution, we've actually increased global warming. There you go. But I won't do a science discussion all night. I need to get your views on what's happening here with the Liberal Party, the coalition front bench. Liz, does Peter Dutton need to forget about Nationals versus Liberals spots or whatever and just get Jacinta Price into that Indigenous Affairs spot?
100%. She is the only appointment that makes sense. I can actually understand why she personally wouldn't want it, because I've observed for a very long time the amount of hatred she cops from her mob on a regular basis, which is a great indication that the left's lie that all Indigenous people think the same is completely and utterly wrong, and therefore the Voice is a given failure. Well, because it's like, oh, we get an Indigenous person to represent Indigenous people, they speak for us all. No, Warren Mundine is coming out today again, reminding everyone, we don't all think the same. That's not how diversity works, just because people look the same. However, back to Jacinta, she's a clear win here. And also, it helps, given his last Indigenous minister resigned because obviously Lisa didn't see eye to eye on the Voice. Jacinta does. So making her minister at a time like this ticks a lot of boxes for Duts.
Yeah, it makes sense, because I don't think anybody says a Voice that all Indigenous people will agree on anything. I don't think anyone's ever made that point.
I don't think so.
People don't agree.
That is implied in this entire thing, that you want Indigenous people to represent Indigenous people.
No.
We are told on a daily basis,
not implied. That's like saying, that's like saying you have Parliament.
You're such a smart person.
No,
so we have a Parliament. Are we implying that everyone agrees in Parliament? That's nonsense.
In Parliament, we have a pile of diversity, and the whole idea is that there is argument and thoughts are refined. But a Voice...
Hey, Liz, you've got to let other people talk. You've got to let other people talk. And I think it's one of the silliest things I've ever heard to suggest that an Indigenous voice means all people on an Indigenous voice would agree. The whole idea is to get lots of voices on there and talk about things.
You are saying that only Indigenous people can represent themselves.
Justin.
Oh, I'm loving this. I'd say with the Liberal Party too, with the way Peter Dutton has been performing with this. Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate it. What we've seen with Peter Dutton here, this sort of crap that we've seen from the Liberals, and we've heard it quite a few times, this, we are a broad church. That is just simply not true. And I think they should be allowed to disagree. We were talking about Simon Birmingham before. I think he should be allowed to openly disagree on this, because it's something that I think the three of us have all agreed on, is that it's a pretty rubbish kind of debate. So the more we can have, the better, the more voices we can have in there and actually starting to listen to each other, I think is a better thing. So I don't see why Simon Birmingham being like that should be a problem.
Hang on a second. You mentioned Simon Birmingham. This is important. Now, the point is he's free to disagree with Liberal policy, but not while he holds a front bench position. That's what Julian Leeser recognised. He couldn't stay on the front bench and disagree with the policy. He has to go to the back bench. He can stay in the Liberal Party and love everything else the Liberal Party does, but he has the freedom to argue his case there, which is why Senator Alex Ansett in the first segment of this show said this. Alex, is that tenable for the Senate opposition leader to pick and choose which policies he wants to advocate?
Well, look, Chris, I do think this is troubling from where I sit. We've had a party room meeting. The party room position is clear. The position is that we are dismissing this. They were voting no. The party's position is to vote no. I think if that is to be Simon's position, then I really do think this makes his position as opposition leader in the Senate and a front bencher fairly untenable.
How about that, Liz? You've got a Liberal senator saying his own leader's position is untenable. Do you agree with him?
Well, look, it is an understanding, as Lisa has demonstrated very recently, if you are a frontbencher and you don't want to toe the party line, that is the done thing, because you don't want to have a cabinet that's divided over something of this significance. And so that is the done thing. It seems Birmingham wants to have his cake and eat it too, and anyone who knows anything about Birmingham isn't surprised by that.